Hello, my Amazon selling friend. Have you ever been worried about Amazon suspending your selling account? It's time to relax and know the facts. There's never been a better time to be a seller online, and we've got all the info you need in order to sleep easier, knowing that your online biz is safe and secure. Today, Jim invited Cynthia Stein to join him to talk through all the details. Here's your host, Mr. Jim Cockrum.
Let's talk about Amazon suspensions. Yeah, that's right. As a seller on Amazon or any other platform for that matter, it is possible to get into some trouble and lose your account. Doesn't that sound scary? Well, here, let me just drop a few facts on you first before we go too far. Today, just like yesterday, just like the day before, and just like 6 months from now and 2 years from now, 99.9% of all online sellers were rocking and rolling. Business as usual. But from time to time, some of us do run into some trouble and we need some help. And that's why we call our good friend Cynthia Stein, who's joining me on the call today. Now, just so you know some facts right up front, 95% of the time, that's the industry statistic, 90 to 95% of the time, if the worst case scenario happens and your account is suspended, you'll get it back if you do things the right way. And no, this isn't us just trying to sell some services. You really do need to know what you're doing, because after having seen literally several hundred suspensions and helping sellers manage their way through the process, we've picked up on exactly what Amazon expects, what they want to hear. For example, did you know they don't like really long, drawn-out explanations of your side of the story? No, they want you to get right to the point. The people handling suspensions at Amazon are very busy. And yes, Amazon is on our side as sellers. They want to serve the buyers and sellers of their community, but they're also dealing with a lot of what Cynthia calls bad actors. And you need to stand out from those bad actors, those people who are intentionally breaking all sorts of rules every day, trying to get away with everything they can. Now, that's not you, but if you get mixed in with them from Amazon's perspective, that's not going to go real well for you. So how do you stay clean and prevent suspensions? How do you get unsuspended if it happens? And some of the best news, how do you get insurance in case you lose some of your income while you're temporarily suspended? Those are all topics on today's show. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'm going to get Cynthia on the phone right now, and we're going to jump in and have a great conversation about preventing suspensions, recovering from suspensions, and the insurance that you should have if you're selling online. So let's get Cynthia on the line. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. So great to have you as a guest today.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, it's just awesome. We spent a little time getting caught up before this call. And, just to sum it all up for the listener, because this is a hot topic, suspensions and Amazon. Are they going to suspend me? If I do get suspended, can I get back on? And what should I and shouldn't I be doing? And I heard so-and-so got suspended. There's a lot of talk. But at the end of the day, there's really not a whole lot of bad news. If you're doing things the right way, there's opportunity everywhere. And the bottom line for me is, even if you get that worst case scenario where you're suspended and you can't get reinstated, guess what? From my vantage point, there's still opportunity everywhere, even with Amazon. We've got creative partnerships going and all kinds of great stuff. But today, the specific topic is, let's help people prevent themselves from being suspended, identify maybe some risky behaviors and some of the things that you're seeing, and why is Amazon all worked up right now about this issue? And, from my vantage point, this has always been an issue. I remember, Cynthia, I don't know, did you sell on eBay? How far back does your selling experience go? Let's just start there.
Okay, I started on Amazon in 2010, and I actually got into it because of Chris Green. And so I've done a little eBay on the side, but I'm really mostly an all Amazon girl when it comes to a seller. And I'm all FBA pretty much.
Yeah, those of us who've been, and, so you've been doing it for a while now. That's no joke, 2010, but going back even about 10 years earlier than that, those of us who've been doing this even longer, if you want to see scary, eBay was scary. Now, eBay, you get suspended on eBay, you just can't log in anymore and you get nothing. No response. no interaction, no appeal process, which is what you're just an industry leader at that process of, in a very legitimate way, saying, okay, here's the next step you should take when you're facing an issue that might lead to suspension. But we're actually quite blessed now with the way Amazon is handling things currently, where they do allow us to interact and appeal and state our case. And that's where you're really, really good. You've even got a book, Suspension Prevention. And right off the start, and I promise I'm going to let you talk, Cynthia, but I was just so excited about the offer that you had for our audience, where if you're a Proven Amazon course student, if you've bought the Proven Amazon course, Cynthia is giving you her book. It's in there. It's content. It's called Suspension Prevention, the full downloadable PDF of the book that's sold everywhere. It's a great book. We've endorsed it forever, but thank you. That's awesome. And take the floor. Fill us in. How do things look from the vantage point of preventing suspensions right now?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about both. So first of all, I just want to say that in our house, we find that most of our clients are able to get back on the platform. And if they're not, usually there's a really good reason. And so for the most part, our clients are sellers who have made a mistake, who didn't understand Amazon's rules, or who just didn't know that they were doing something wrong for the most part, or Amazon changed the rules on them, which happens a lot. And so suddenly they've been doing great for years and they've suddenly run afoul of a new policy or a change in policy. So, I tell people, most people that come to us get back. And that, that's the good news.
Yeah. What percent? I've tied you down to a percent a few times before. What, just, approximately?
I would say 95%.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The ones who don't get back, usually when they come to us, we already know they're a hard case and we tell them so. So, we do take very hard cases on, but the fact is most of our work, most people who get suspended are, like I said, they've just run afoul of the rules because they've either changed or they just didn't understand them. And so a lot of times we can get people back. And then, there's also, there are other things like I talk about in my book, dirty seller tricks, things like that. We're seeing a lot of that with copyright infringement right now, where it's actually competitors who are abusing the platform that are bringing other sellers down. And so we're able to get those guys back too. It just takes a little longer and stuff like that. And so I guess what I'd like to talk about today is bad actors, because I want everyone to know that Amazon is very much aware that there are bad actors on the platform.
Yeah, Amazon's not the enemy here. I think, that's kind of a theme. When we start talking about who's the bad guy, it's these bad actors intentionally all day, every day, just gaming the system in a very illegitimate way. And they know that that's what they're doing.
Yes. And so, when I've talked to, contacts that I have at Amazon, some of them have said, 70%, right now are coming from, China, Taiwan, and, deliberately knowing the rules, breaking them, and things like that. So these bad actors are causing a lot of heartache on the platform for sellers and for buyers. And of course, Amazon cares a lot about the buyer. And so they've also had some major brands leave Amazon because of the counterfeit issue. So they are very motivated to fix this problem. And so some of the things that they've done to fix it, however, are causing problems for sellers right now. And so I just wanted to briefly go over what these are. And some of them are just brand new, and you can expect to see more. But one is account verification. So for every new seller worldwide now, this used to be in the UK and Mexico, but now it's everywhere. New sellers have to go through a strict verification process to make sure they really are who they say they are. And, this was something the EU originally had them do because of money laundering issues. And, it was a law in the EU, but Mexico also for the same reasons. And now Amazon's doing it worldwide because what they discovered is that a lot of these bad actors can't pass verification because they're using fake addresses, fake names, and so they can't pass verification. So that's like one of their new ways to keep out bad actors who keep, creating new accounts. And then another thing that Amazon's looking to do is what we call pay to play. So what they're doing now is they're charging fees for sellers to get into certain categories, for sellers to even open up new accounts in some countries. Like in China, they have to pay a fee just to apply and things like that. So we're going to see more of that where, again, for a serious seller who's in it to play this game, who's in it to win it, this is not a problem, right?
Yeah. None of this is an issue. If you're a legitimate seller and you're just trying to sell your products on Amazon, none of this should make you nervous at all. This is just some of the stuff they're doing to keep out, like you said, the bad actors.
Great. Now, brand gating, we saw that start last